Welcome back to Chef State of Mind. As always, I'm Chef D. So today we're going to be making this. You may be asking yourself, what is this, Play-Doh? What is this ball of yellow stuff? This is pasta. You may be asking yourself, you know how to make pasta? Obviously, I just made it, okay? So, are you tired of buying this? Spaghetti, dry spaghetti? You tired of waiting 20 minutes for this stuff to cook? How about a minute and a half at the most? Okay? You no longer need this. You no longer need this. You don't. You don't need it. You don't need this simple recipe. All you need is a scale, flour, salt, and egg yolks. That's it. You no longer have to buy that, okay? Look, you don't have to buy that. We're going to throw that away, all right? So, this is what the end result is going to be. Look at that. That's nice and malleable. It's going to take a fraction of the time to cook. All you have to do is get down simple, easy, quick techniques, and you'll be on your way to making extravagant Italian cuisines. So today, we're making pasta, right? So what you're gonna need to make the simplest, most basic pasta, first thing you're gonna need, boom, the scale, right? So right here we have 180 grams. Yes, grams, we're not selling crack. We need 180 grams of AP flour. You want the best kind of flour you could possibly get. Also in here we have a hefty pinch of salt. Right here we have 150 grams of egg yolks. You just want the yolks. You do not want the whites. The whites are mostly made out of water, okay? So if you don't know how to separate an egg, we're going to crack that right into there. Just going to grab that yolk. Going to jiggle it a little bit, pinch it with your fingers, drop it right in there. That's 150 grams right there. Okay, so what you're going to want to do with this, you're going to want to make a well right in the center of this bowl. Make a well. It don't have to reach the bottom. You're going to mix up these eggs. You're going to drop them right in the middle. Right in the middle. So, what we're going to start doing is start beating these eggs right in here. We're going to start gathering a little bit of that flour each time we beat these eggs. Now we're going to come over to the edge. I'm going to start beating that again. Keep going over to the edge and start beating it. Gonna keep getting that right in the center, right? Gonna take that flour from the edges, push it right to the center, start beating again. You might be asking yourself, Demetrius, isn't that gonna make the dough tough? Listen, if you do what I'm telling you to do, it won't, okay? So, back again to what we were doing, right? You want your dough to look just like this. So you want a little bit of flour, a little bit of eggs mixed with flour all over the place. So we have a little bit of water here. With clean hands. With clean hands. You're going to put your hands in there, right? You're going to start throwing just a little bit of that on there. Do not pour that water in there, right? So I'm going to start mixing this again. I'm going to keep mixing that. So now we're going to take our cutting board, right? I'm going to dump that right on our cutting board. Right in the center. Get all that flour off that fork. Now, with clean hands, again, throw a little bit of water on there. Now I'm going to start working this with our hands. At this point, my lovely assistant would take a little bit of olive oil and drizzle that on this dough. You just want about a tablespoon. That's enough. Okay, so we're going to start working this dough. I'm going to just push it into the board. At this point, you may need a little bit more flour to keep it from sticking like what's going on here. It looks like this. I'm going to take a little bit of flour. I'm going to dust it. I'm going to incorporate that flour nice and well into there. See how our dough is starting to get a lot firmer? I'm going to take our bench scraper. I'm going to start folding that dough. I'm going to start using our hands again. I'm going to take the heel of your palm, push it down, pick it up, push it down, That's just a process. You want to do this for about 2 to 5 minutes. You're going to get very strong doing this. Be sure, do not let this dough stick to this board, okay? That's why we're taking preventative measures and adding a little bit more flour. You want it to be nice and dry. Flour continues to get as much moisture as it can, so the longer it sits, it's going to start picking up moisture wherever it can. Okay, so 5 minutes. Want to form this into a little ball just like this. I'm going to flatten that. Okay, so once your dough looks like this, see how dry that is? You do not, once you spread this out, you do not want it pulling all the way back. That means you overworked it. If you stick to that 3 to 5 minute time, it's going to look just like this. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a zip top bag. I'm going to throw that in there. Let's get all that air out. We're going to let that rest for at least 30 minutes in the refrigerator. Once that's done resting, I'm going to show you guys how to roll that. After you let that rest for about 30 minutes, right? Overnight preferably, to relax all that gluten that you helped to build while you were working that dough into the cutting board. You could either use a rolling pin like this, or if you want to be extra professional, you can use one of these pasta rollers that has it goes up from 1 all the way to 7. You can use that, just attach it to your countertop or whatever you want. You always want to start on the highest setting and work your way all the way down to the lowest setting. But we're going to wait 30 minutes, and then we're going to roll some of that out for you guys and show you how to cut it, form it, whatever you want. We'll show you how to do that. Here are Chef's State of Mind. Okay, so our dough has rested for 30 minutes. You see it's already a little bit less firm. That's a sign that it's drawn in a little bit more moisture, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to flour our board. To make sure that's nice and floured. You do not want this dough to stick, especially at this stage. You do not. I repeat. Now we ain't gonna do that again. I'm fucking with you. That it's all floured and looking all floury. We're gonna cut a piece of that off. I'm gonna set this to the side. I'm gonna roll this into a ball. I want to flatten this as much as possible at this stage right now because it's just gonna make your life a hell of a lot easier going down the road. I'm gonna take our rolling pin. I'm going to roll that out. All the while flipping this dough and moving it through that flour. Because I repeat, you don't want this dough to stick. So you thought I was going to do it again, but I didn't. So if you have a pasta roller, this is the point where you want to start running this through here, going down to different settings. You can do it 1 by 1, you can do it 2 by 2, it doesn't matter. But if you don't, you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. You have to keep rolling that out. Keep flipping it, keep rolling it, keep rolling it. But guess what? We ain't doing this today because we fancy over here. So we're going to run this through here. You want to do it very, very slowly. Okay? If you feel like you need to add a little bit more flour, you may want to do that because this is going to cause friction. And you do not want to rip this dough, especially after you spent all that money on those egg yolks. After you spent all your time letting it rest, you do not want to mess up this dough at this point. You want to move very slowly. Very slowly. See how it's not ripping? It's not folding in on itself. It looks beautiful. So, okay. So we're right here on the 4th setting. We're going to stop it right around there. I'm going to run that through very slowly. Remember, you do not want to rip this dough. Look at that. So from here on, you can make anything you want to. You can make that into raviolis, you can make that into pappardelle, tagliatelle. You can make it into regular spaghetti. But now that you know how to make this, you no longer have to use this stuff, okay? It may cost a little bit more in the long run, but trust me, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. So, now that you know how to do this, you can make whatever you want. So as long as you know how to do this, you don't have to use that dry pasta. You don't have to use that fresh pasta that they sell at Whole Foods and places like Publix and all, and Walmart. As long as you know how to do this, it's super simple. It costs a little bit more money in the long run, but it's well worth it because it tastes magnificent. So when you're cooking this, you want to put this in a large pot of water, season it heavily. It should taste like seawater. You're going to cook that for about 1.5 minutes. That's all you need. You're going to drain it just like any other pasta and mix it with whatever kind of sauce, whatever kind of vegetables, any kind of pasta you want to make. It's super simple. You can make pappardelle with this. You can make tagliatelle. You can make raviolis, tortellinis, whatever you want to make with this. This right here, that's primo, okay? So if you want to keep learning with us, want to keep improving with us, learning tips, tricks, recipes, techniques, be sure to hit that like button if you like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you love us and what we're all about doing here. Be sure to comment. First and foremost, be sure to comment. Tell me what you think, because I'd love to hear your feedback. But that's the end of the video. We're going to make some pasta tonight. We're going to eat like kings. So we'll see you next week on Chef's State of Mind.